I've been thinking about Leslie's future since the day she was born. You can only do what you can do, and then fate takes a hand. You're hoping that what you've done will ensure at least that it gives Leslie a better chance in life than she would have had you not made the preparation.
We have solicitors that we work with throughout Scotland who have experience of working with families with learning disabilities, and we can point people in the right direction. Quite often people will say to us, I haven't been to a solicitor in years, or I have had a family solicitor for 30 years, he sold my house 5 times, but he really is shying away from this type of work. And at Enable, we like to think of it as the friendly first port of call, just to get people a bit more relaxed and open to thinking about the future, and we can give them some friendly advice without sitting in a solicitor's office thinking, gosh, the clock's ticking and this is costing me a lot of money. And also, being part of Enable, we would like to think that we have that extra understanding with working with families who do have children with learning disabilities. In very simple terms, a will is just a legal document that sets out a person's wishes for when they're no longer here. When thinking about wills and trusts, quite often we see that parents are tempted to save costs and time, maybe just to get a simple will from the internet or the corner shop, and please do not do that, because it's actually, in most cases, unless everything's relatively simple and straightforward, it's the worst thing that you can do. And it's not going to take account of people's more complex needs, which understandably, when you're trying to make provision for somebody who has a learning disability, you need that specialist advice. One of the consequences of not making a will and making proper plans for the future is that somebody could receive a sum of money and then not be able to deal with that themselves. And I think a lot of us, maybe at a young age, might struggle with managing a large sum of money. I think a lot of parents put off writing a will because there are too many different scenarios in their head and they just can't think of what the best solution is, and they say, but what if this changes in the future or circumstances change? And my advice would be to at least do something now. That's the best thing, to do something, and then always keep it under review. Don't just lock it away in the solicitor's safe or in your filing cabinet and forget about it, because circumstances do change and it's relatively simple to update your will and just keep things under review. A trust is simply a legal arrangement where money, rather than going to the person directly, it is put into a trust, and then the money is looked after by people called trustees, and they basically carry out the wishes of the person that set up the trust and use the money for the things that they said they would like the trust to be used for. A trust can offer protection for a vulnerable person, so it can help somebody manage their money. It can provide protection for that person to make sure that nobody else is going to take advantage of that money. If it's set up correctly and it's the right type of trust, then it can protect entitlement to means-tested benefits. And finally, I think it gives reassurance to parents that trusted people are using it for the benefit of their son or daughter when they're no longer here. It's really important to choose your trustees carefully, because these are the people that look after the money and make all the decisions. Quite often parents want to just appoint maybe another child or a family friend, and they make the assumption that that person can take on that role, maybe even without discussing it with them. It's okay to have friends or family, I think that's understandable, but it can be quite a burden to place on people. If you don't think there's anyone suitable in your family, one solution is to think about appointing a professional trustee. And that can be just a professional trustee on their own, or it could be a professional trustee along with a family member or a friend, and quite often that's a good solution for parents because they have a professional dealing with the headache sometimes of the legal and the tax and the financial requirements, but at the same time having the personal input from a family friend or relative. I think law is so often seen as inaccessible, intimidating, scary, expensive, And in this area it's actually saying, well no, it can help somebody, it can actually really make a difference to their lives.